somebody's address marker. Not every day you see them. Entrance to somebody's driveway with a scary ass looking mannequin with no face. That's Dahlia. Say hi, Dahlia. Here's Dahlia's bike. Somehow she was thrown off her bike and put onto this pole. Going through Snoqualmie and saw this train off here on the side of the road. Let's go check it out. See what it is. Excuse me. Oh, that's interesting. Not sure what that is out there in the back of it, or front of it. See if I can get through this fence to show it. See that? I don't know what that is. There's a sign over here. Let's see if it says something about it. It's cool looking. Rotary 10. Snowplow. Northern Pacific Railroad Steam Rotary Snowplow 10, built in 1907. It's a steel frame with wood car body, later rebuilt with steel. Interesting. It says it was built by American Locomotive Company Cookworks in 1907. It's one of only a handful that have been preserved. Within the body, a fire tube boiler supplies steam to a two-cylinder steam engine that drives a 9-foot, 8.5-inch plow wheel. So that must have been what we just saw in the front of it. The direction of rotation of the wheel determines the direction snow is thrown. A flanger plow mounted underneath the body behind the front truck is lowered to clear snow and ice from between the rails. It was originally designed to burn coal. The snowplow was converted to oil in 1947. Later, the wooden body was rebuilt from steel. The plow itself is not self-propelled. It relies on the muscle or steam of diesel locomotives to push it. Snow conditions determine the number of locomotives required. Last used in 1964, the plow spent most of its working career clearing the tracks on Stampede Pass in Washington's Cascade Range. Typically, it spent summers in Auburn and winters in the town of Leicester, up near the pass. It was donated to the Northwest Railway Museum in 1968. Oh, that's cool. If you guys can see this picture on the sign. It's a snowplow. Cool. Can't say I've ever seen one of those. This thing's sitting back here too, right behind it. If you look closely in the water here, you'll see the remains of an old bridge. I found out in the December of 1933, during a flood, an oil tanker truck ended up in the Snoqualmie River, and it hit the bridge's wooden abutment, causing the tanker to burst into flames. The abutment caught fire, and according to the Snoqualmie Valley Historical Society, the heat of the oil-fed fire burned through the bridge's steel beams, causing the north end to drop into the river. Bunch more rail car stuff. It says Plymouth on it. It's like this whole row of historic train stuff. Oh, and there's this capacity, 11,173 gallons. Ammonia. Oh, well then down here it says capacity 100,000 pounds. Going back in there in between them too. Can't really see it though too well. Here we got some signs. Boxcar. Before shipping containers and other specialty rail cars were invented, boxcars were used to haul nearly every commodity available. This highly versatile car could be modified with features such as end doors, racks, and adjustable bulkheads to adapt to special needs. There's another train going by there on the other side of the tracks. Lumber, machine parts, canned goods, building materials, dry goods such as bulk, wheat and barley, and machine tools were just a few of the many and varied goods moved in boxcars. And of significant local importance, the Boeing Company received aircraft parts in boxcars of all shapes and sizes. This car is a variation on the once ubiquitous boxcar. The Northern Pacific Railway owned over 4,000 similar cars. This car is double sheethead. It has two sliding layers and has pressed steel ends, a Murphy type roof, and wood doors. Three-truck Shay locomotives. The Shay is a geared locomotive known for its tremendous pulling power. Unlike rod-type locomotives, the Shay has cylinders mounted vertically and power is transmitted to the wheels through drive shafts and gears. This locomotive design was developed in the late 1800s. In that era, nearly 75% of production costs were attributed to transportation. In 1875, he built a rough wood railed tramway and used horses to pull cars loaded with logs. Years of experimenting led to a locomotive design suited to rough, lightweight, temporary logging tracks. It says this 3-truck Shea locomotive was built for the Newhouse Mines and Smelter Company in Utah. It hauled copper ore from the Cactus Mine on the Newhouse Copper Gulch and Sevier Railroad. 10 years later, when the mine played out, the locomotive was sold first to Kramer K. Machinery Company of Salt Lake City, then to the Eastern Railway and Lumber Company in Centralia, Washington, to haul log trains. In 1942, the company name was changed to the S.A. Agnew Lumber Company, and the number 1 continued to haul logs until the railway was abandoned in 1951. The Shea was stored at a sawmill until it was donated in 1964 and moved to the Northwest Railway Museum in 1969. There it is. You can see on there it says Eastern Railway Lumber. You can see that or not. That's an interesting looking one there. This was a steam crane. Spokane, Portland, and Seattle Railway steam wrecking crane X5. See the big hook on it right there. This one was built in 1908. Wrecking cranes were used clean up after train wrecks, and because they were not self-propelled, usually traveled in a train called an auxiliary. Auxiliary often included a diner and sleeping accommodations. The auxiliary often included a dinner and sleeping accommodations for railway carmen and other workers performing wreck cleanup. Train wrecks were once more commonplace than they are today. Modern train control, improved training and inspection standards, and better manufacturing are just a few of the changes that have all been eliminated many of the once common causes of rail accidents. It's a big piece of machinery. It's a cool looking car over there. There's the back end of that. This one is Weyerhaeuser Timber Company, steam locomotive number 6. It's built in 1928, weighs 210,000 pounds. It says the Weyerhaeuser Timber Company was founded by Frederick Weyerhaeuser in 1900. This new venture came after years of successful logging and mill operations along the Mississippi River. A neighborly relationship and friendship with railroad man James J. Hill led to the founding of what would become one of the Pacific Northwest's most successful businesses. Hill, then president of the Grant Northern Railway and majority stockholder in the Northern Pacific Railway, controlled millions of acres of land along the right-of-way of the Northern Pacific. The land had been granted to that railroad by the U.S. government in exchange for building the Northern Transcontinental Line. Weyerhaeuser and Hill struck a deal wherein Hill sold the Weyerhaeuser Timber Company 900,000 acres of land in Washington State for the price of only $6 an acre. The Weyerhaeuser Company was comprised of 15 investors, with Frederick acting as president. Within 3 years, the company had built its first sawmill in Everett. Starting in 1915, more sawmills were added, and by the end of the decade, the company had 22 operating mills, including here in Snoqualmie. Over the years, the Weyerhaeuser Company would expand from landowner and sawmill operator to all manner of lumber and paper products, and continues to be a successful company and one of the world's largest private landowners. It's hard to read that, but that says Weyerhaeuser Timber Company. This one is steam locomotive 529, Oregon and Northwestern. Built in 1903, weighs 300 pounds. Says the Oregon and Northwestern Railroad ran between Seneca and Burns, Oregon. It was completed by the Edward Hines Lumber Company. The railroad was created for the purpose of logging the Bear Valley timber sale in Oregon Malheur National Forest. The original Bear Valley timber sale in the 1920s stipulated the construction of a sawmill, a 30-mile railroad extension from Crane to Burns, and a 50-mile common carrier railroad from Burns north to Seneca. The Bear Valley tract was 67,400 acres of public timber that was possibly the largest volume of timber ever sold in the Pacific Northwest. Like that's seen better days. What do you expect though for when it was built and all the use it had in its life? Another one back there. Great Northern Railway automobile boxcars. It's like these ones were built in June of 1929. Made out of, the body's made out of wood. Ends and doors are made out of steel. Automobile boxcar was designed to ship vehicles, mostly cars, by rail in a more secure manner than on a flat car. Some auto box cars were designed to have 2 levels of cars inside. Most cars were loaded by hand. Workers pushed cars in the boxcar using floor jacks, dollies, and sheer muscle. Auto boxcars differ from boxcars in several ways. First, most auto boxcars had a larger side door. The Great Northern 43900 series cars included 12-foot door openings. Typical boxcar doors were 6 foot wide. The second difference was the auto boxcars' end doors, a feature generally not found on boxcars. Including end doors meant the auto boxcar could be loaded from either the side or the end, which gave a level of flexibility not found in typical boxcars. Today, the industry standard is to ship vehicles using 80 to 90 foot flat cars with auto racks welded to them. The racks include galvanized steel or fiberglass side screens designed to protect the vehicles being shipped from both vandalism and the elements. Racks can be either bi-level or tri-level. This improved design is a result of collaboration between railroads, automotive manufacturers, suppliers, and the Association of American Railroads. While the design and materials of the modern method may be different, the inclusion of the end door remains an important element in loading and unloading. This one says Shell on it. Tank car, but the information's missing on this one. Bright yellow one's called the reefer car. Built in 1953, 43 feet long. Reefers had a tremendous impact on Washington. They imported fresh California fruits and vegetables to Washington in winter and summer months, and in the fall exported Washington apples, peaches, and other fruit to eastern markets. Refrigeration was achieved by filling bunkers in the end of each car with large blocks of ice that were often harvested from local lakes and rivers during the winter months and stored in insulated ice houses. Electric or mechanical circulation fans powered from the axles circulated the chilled air. Cooler temperatures could be developed by spreading rock salt on the ice. During extremely cold weather, portable alcohol or charcoal heaters were operated to keep perishables from freezing. Today, diesel-powered refrigerator cars have replaced these ice reefers and continue to haul a variety of fresh fruit and vegetables, especially Washington apples. This reefer was manufactured in Renton at the once vast Pacific Car and Foundry railcar manufacturing plant. The Renton plant was decommissioned in the early 1980s when changing economics caused them to focus on their truck business. Cool. Reefer car. And here's the last car. Gondola car. So the gondola car was built in 1918. These cars are sometimes called gons for short and are used to carry bulk commodities such as crushed rock, ore concentrate, and coal. Gondolas with low side rails may also be used to carry steel plates, wire coils, scrap steel, or rail. Today, gondolas are still an important part of rail transportation. Trains consisting of 125 high-capacity gondolas carry 12,000 tons of coal between mines and seaports or power stations. You can see in this picture right here that says Pacific Coast Railway number 16 carrying freight, including a steel gondola car immediately behind the tender, travels eastbound out of Renton in 1951. It also says this car was one of 250 cars built for the Great Northern Railway and was used to haul coal and other aggregates. By 1951, the Pacific Coast had become a Great Northern operating subsidiary, and the car was assigned to that King County Railway. There it transported Black Diamond and Maple Valley coal. Rainier Incorporated purchased the car for its second life, hauling gravel on their logging railroad from Crane Creek near Grays Harbor. Rainier donated the car to the museum in 1986. Early King County homes and businesses often used coal for heating, and steamships and locomotives burned coal to heat boilers and make steam. For nearly a century, coal mines near today's Newcastle, Issaquah, Franklin, Black Diamond, Renton, and Maple Valley produced soft coal that was marketed locally in California. Railroads and coal had an early association in this region. Western Washington's first railroad was constructed in 1872 to haul coal in Seattle from Lake Union to Pike Street. Without railroads, this bulky commodity could not have been successfully mined and sold. So there it is. You can see this whole row here of all those old cars. Here's some more rail car history. It's like this is a museum and depot bookstore. Looks like there's a bunch more cars out there we can go see. Did I see somebody in? I don't know if you can go in there. No, I don't think so. Nope. This looks like a fancy one. See, this train's kind of just in the middle of town. This one's some sort of medic car, it looks like. Army Medical Ambulance Kitchen Car. Here comes the train. Let's see what's coming. So he's going to come right over here. That's a cool car. It's like they do, you can take a train ride. That'd be pretty fun. Yeah. All right, let's go check out this Army Medical Kitchen. United States Army. This one here we can go in. It says U.S. Plywood Corp., Washington. To read the sign when we come out of it. Let's check it out inside. There's the different valves, what they do. A lot of those in here though. Look around. Try to remember which one of these knobs does what. Little door there. This door. Let's go down and read what the sign says on this one. There's Konani. Mallet. This one says Compound Mallet Steam Locomotive 11. This locomotive is a good example of how some logging equipment passed to numerous owners and received modifications to suit the work at hand. Baldwin Locomotive Works built this side tank logging mallet for the Ostrander Railway and Timber Company, where it was the number 7 used in logging service in the Ostrander, Washington area. Looks like it was built in 1926. It says Mallet Locomotives is in the quest to improve locomotive power and efficiency. Engineer and inventor Anatole Mallet designed a compound mallet steam locomotive. It has 4 steam cylinders and uses steam twice. First, the high-pressure steam passes through a pair of high-pressure cylinders. Then the exhaust from those cylinders passes through a pair of low-pressure cylinders. This design conserved both water and fuel. The front engine is hinged to the rear engine, thus producing a powerful, flexible locomotive at home on the rough track and sharp curves of logging railroads. Thanks for riding along again today, and we'll see you on our next adventure.